JHK here for Sportskeeda, and join me right now is Angela Lee from the beautiful islands of Hawaii. She is the champion, the Atomweight champion for one championship. Thank you, Angela, for the time. How's life treating you right now?
Life has been awesome. I've just been enjoying spending time with my daughter, and just recently started training again and getting back in shape.
Yeah, I saw that. It must be hard. I read a couple of the statements that you put out on Instagram. Just tell us how it feels moving around, getting that blood flowing again.
Honestly, it felt great. At the end of my first training session back, I was really, really happy just to be back. The gym is my first home, it really feels like. And I was able to train with my family. It is a little bit rough, though. I am pretty sore, and it is going to take some getting used to again.
You mentioned about your sister too. She's improved so much since you've been gone. You know what I mean? Could you explain to us, like, just so we get a grasp of how good she is?
Yeah, it's, oh my goodness, it's so crazy that it's almost been a year since I've last trained with them, and she has grown so much in terms of technique and skill, but also physically. She's taller than me, and she's only 17 years old now, but she's still growing, and oh man, I feel like time is just flying by.
Yeah, you're gonna end up passing the baton real soon, huh, to her?
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's in the gym training hard every single day, and she's a hungry young lion right now. So she can't wait to get back in there and keep this going.
A hot topic recently is Chacha. He's putting out this idea of putting an event together, one championship versus the UFC champions versus champions. I talked to the few of the champions recently, and they're all for it. What are your thoughts on a potential mega show like that?
Definitely, I would be so excited for that. I think if you ask any of the fighters, any of the champions, they would be excited and they would welcome that idea because we're true fighters. We want to test ourselves and we want to fight the best. Um, so it all comes down to, these decisions, they're always above us. They're up to the organizations and the CEOs. So, but if you ask the fighters, we're always down.
Of course, and it doesn't stop us from fantasizing about it, right? As fans and as fighters. So Rose Namajunas, I mean, that could be a potential fight in the future if this actually does happen. She recently recaptured the title by knocking out Zhang Weili in the first round. Was that something that you expected, or were you surprised by it?
As soon as I saw that fight matchup, I knew it was going to be a super exciting one. I really enjoy watching both fighters. I think they're both super talented and, of course, admire each of their strengths. But I'm really, really happy for Rose, and I think she's super technical, and the way she went about that fight, it was really exciting to watch.
How do you think about a potential matchup with Doug Rose? How do you think that would play out if that would happen?
Well, Rose, she definitely has, a lot of strength and things that I admire about her, but I do see a couple, um, you know, uh, weaknesses as well. I think that her weaknesses is where I would strive and I would try to, definitely take advantage of that. And I think, it would be a really, really fun matchup. And um, it's one that'll leave you guys, wanting more because, everyone wants to see that happening, not just in MMA, but in everything around the world. You want to see the best fight the best, and uh, hopefully we get to have that one day.
Every fighter has holes, they have weaknesses. Could you give me a little bit of what you see as a weakness?
Well, her striking is super technical, and I know that she has, rounded off her skill set a lot since I've seen her fight on The Ultimate Fighter. But I do feel like, where I would like to expose her the most is, that transition from the takedown to the ground. And, obviously me, I love my submissions, and I think that's where I see, me exposing her.
All right. Another potential opponent could be Valentina Shevchenko, right? She's reigning supreme in her division. You know a thing about that. You know a thing or two about that. As someone, that can relate to her and as a fan of the sport, have you been impressed by what she has accomplished so far?
Definitely. Valentina Shevchenko, she's actually one of my favorite fighters. I just love that she's humble, but she also asserts herself. She knows what she's capable of, and she instills that fear in the division. So it's always as a fan, I love watching her compete, and I think that um, what's most admirable about her is that she came into UFC as striking being her background and her forte, but she's so well rounded now, and she's worked really hard at mixing it up, and she's a complete MMA fighter now, and that's what we got to be. We all got to evolve and keep up with the times, because everyone's a full well-rounded MMA fighter now. We're no longer just stylistic.
Do you see that a lot, throughout the years? I know you're still young, but you've been fighting for a while. Fighters that are come in, very good at one aspect, but they never evolve, so they never kind of, get as far as they should.
Yeah, it's kind of more with the pioneers, more to
Hmm.
say, of MMA. That's what you kind of see, them shining in that one area. But nowadays, this next generation, I mean, take a look at my sister. All these young kids coming up, they can do it all, and it's so scary. They can do it all so well.
Valentina, they seem to believe that she's unstoppable or, unbeatable, but there's always a way to beat someone, right, in this sport. What kind of opponent do you think, if you could create an opponent with the skill set to beat Valentina, what would you put together?
That's really hard to say, because she is constantly evolving as well. Like, from what I can tell, what I've seen on of her is that she has very high expectations of herself, and as a champion, you have to have that. You got to expect more of yourself than anyone can expect of you. Um, so I think that she's super well rounded. She believes in herself. That's a big one. Um, and also she's got a huge heart. So I see her, staying champ for a while.
All right, now back to one championship. The Atomweight Grand Prix, it was supposed to start way earlier this year. It has been postponed. We don't know when it's going to start actually. But does that work into your favor though? Like, cuz you're on your way back to the cage and you have to face the winner. So, does that help you more than anybody?
Yeah, it's a bummer that the Atomweight Grand Prix couldn't have started sooner. But given the circumstances of what's going on in the world right now, I mean, we still got COVID affecting many countries, and affecting the travel. Uh, so, I think that it was something that I was really looking forward to as well. Just seeing the girls and seeing how they match up. But for me, I'm just starting my journey back to getting in fight shape, and I'm trying my best to. Hopefully, my goal is by the end of the year, be in fight shape and be ready for a fight. But I don't know when that's gonna happen. Hopefully, it can happen, sooner than later.
Is there a certain matchup that you're really interested in the first round?
Um, Yeah, yeah, I'd have to say that the matchup I'm most intrigued by is Denise versus Sohee Ham.
Hmm.
I think that'll be a real fun one, so I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Definitely. It's like the old versus the new, so to say.
Yeah. She's had, I think she has the most experience out of all the girls in this tournament. So very interested to see how she does with Denise, who's kind of, yeah, like you said, up and coming.
The tournament, it hasn't started, so it could take a while to get completed. Would you be open to, let's say, I don't want to say a warm up fight, but maybe another fight, like maybe at a higher weight, just to get you, back, get you back into the cage before you actually have to fight for or defend your title.
Um, no, I think I'm most likely just gonna be staying ready, and to defend my title. That's gonna be my first fight back. Uh, After that, after I face the winner of the Grand Prix, who knows what's gonna happen? I think one of my goals is still to go up in weight class and compete for the strawweight title. So we'll see. But definitely my first thing on my agenda is defending my title.
Yourself getting back into training, do you have like a set timeline for everything that's happening, or do you just take it week by week?
Taking it week by week, day by day. Um, Last week was my first time back on the mat since I've been out, and I was only able to train twice last week. Oh man, it's hard, just fitting everything in and still figuring out the scheduling. Sometimes with my daughter, she has good nights, and sometimes it's kind of rough. So still figuring out the sleep schedule and training. I was so sore, so I'm aiming for 3 times this week, but we'll see. Yeah, just taking it slow.
But it's a huge advantage that you have your own gym, so you could bring your daughter whenever, you know what I mean, and you could train, right? At any time, basically.
Yeah, definitely that is a huge pro is that we have this training space available to us 24/7, and I have such an awesome family. My mom right now is taking care of my daughter so I can do these interviews, and it's great. It's a really great environment.
All right. One last thing, you know, what I mean, you're on your way to becoming one of the best ever, right? In this sport. Right now, who would you consider the greatest of all time? You know, women's fighter. Is it Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, Ronda Rousey, or is it someone else?
That is such a hard question just because, times keep changing and you see new records being broken every day. Um, I mean, currently, what I'd say is obviously Amanda Nunes is the current double champion in the UFC, and she's constantly proving herself time and time again. But I want to definitely get up there, and I'm so excited to get back in the cage, and I feel like I have the best years ahead of me. So I'm really excited. I think this next season is going to be a huge one of growth and hopefully new accomplishments for me as well.
Now, with the mindset heading in, coming back from pregnancy, is it like the next stage of your career? Do you feel like that, or is it just a continuation of what you've been doing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I'm very proud of how far that I've come, and I know that I've done a lot, but I'm not satisfied yet. I feel like having my daughter is gonna just reignite this fire inside of me, and I'm just so excited to get back in because I've missed it so much. So, I'm very excited to get my butt back to the gym, and I got a lot of catching up to do. But I'm sure that my brother and my sister will help me get back to the top in no time.
Yeah, that the support system is phenomenal. Thank you, Angela, so much for the time, and good luck on your road back to the cage. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.